Hi friends, today I am going to discuss about a few questions of the previous year UGC NET exam. This class would definitely help the students, those who are preparing for the UGC NET exams. Here I am not only giving the question and answer, and I am giving the detailed explanation of each question so that the concept will be clear for you. Let's look into the first question. Which of the statements given below are correct? It is always important and useful to include an alt attribute on image tag in HTML because option A, users who cannot see the image due to vision impairment can have a textual description of the image, which can be spoken aloud by a screen reader. Option B, if the image fails to load due to slow connection broken path, then alt text is displayed instead. SEO, that is search engine optimization benefit. Okay, here what is the question means? The exact use of alt attribute. Do you know the what is the purpose of using alt attribute in HTML? Okay, let's look into the answer. Here the options given A, B, C, D. Do you have any guess? Okay, here the answer is option D. Let's check how the answer will get. First, we have to know about the alt attribute. What is the purpose of alt attribute? Alt attribute is the short for alternative text. Actually, it provides a detailed textual description for an image. Okay, so what is the purpose of alternative text? It provided textual description for the image. So, the first option given that a user who cannot see the image due to vision impairment can have a textual description of the image. So here, if a person who is not able to see the image, how they can identify what picture is mentioned there. So with the help of this alt attribute, they can easily identify or they can easily understand what images are there in the web page or in the search site, whatever it is. So how it can be possible with the help of alt attribute. Here I have given a syntax here. Image source is the one image file, but alt is the sum of the text given here, that is free newsletter, get free recipes, news, and more. So based on these, so these text will read by the document reader so that the vision impairment people can identify what is the picture related to it. So this is the picture related to that is some news or something else. They can easily identify. So that option A is correct. Option B, what is mentioned, if the image fails to load due to slow connection, broken path, then alt text is displayed instead. This is another important feature of alt attribute. We can, if some slow network connection or some, if given path is not accurate or a broken path we have given, so that time what will happen? What are all the text we have given in the alt attribute that would be written by the what that will be executed. That is alt attribute will be executed. As per these keywords, the image will displayed. Next is search engine optimization. That is search engine optimization means nowadays whatever we need the information we just Google it, so that if but so Google search engine, that Google search engine cannot see the images. These search engines are using these text what we have given in the alt attribute. So based on these keywords, search engines are identify what is the content of the image and what is the context that search engine should be displayed. Okay, these are all the basic usage of alt attribute. I hope this question is clear for you. So that option D is correct. Option A, B, and C is are all the three important functions of alt attribute. Okay. Next, move into the another question. In this question, based on Java programming, and some terms in given that JNDI, RMI, JDK, JRE. I hope you all should know the full form of these keywords. Then only you can identify the exact answer. If you know the what is JNDI, RMI, JDK, JRE, it is very simple question that you can easily identify the answer. Here option A, B, C, D is given. Okay, let's look into the answer. Answer is option A. How it is option A? JNDA. JNDA means what? Java Naming and Directory Interface. Okay, this is an API in support of naming and directory services, and you can develop Java applications with using this Java Naming Directory Interface. Okay, and remote method invoke RMA. The full form of RMA is remote method invocation. For the In this remote method invocation, the methods provided by the Java Development Kit and a runtime support for the calling remote methods. This RMA, I will give a detailed description later. Next is JDK. JDK is the Java. This is a compiler class. Next, JRE is the runtime environment. Okay, let's move into the detailed explanation. What is Java Development Kit? JDK I have mentioned here. Full form is what? Java Development Kit. This is an essential software development environment for creating Java-based applications and applet. It provides the necessary tools and libraries required for Java development, making it cornerstone for Java developers. Actually, what is Java Development Kit? In that, we have different tools and library functions that we can use for developing Java applications and Java applet. So it would be definitely helpful the people those who are Java developers. JDK is very useful for them to develop Java applications. In JDK, we can see the JRE, that is Java Runtime Environment. Here I mentioned the runtime support for running Java programs. JRE full form is what? Java Runtime Environment. Okay. Uh, in this, we have, and JDK consists of many other tools also. Apart from these four components, we have many other components in the Java compiler, Java runtime environment, Java archiver, debugger, documentation generator, interpreter. These all the other components are also included in the Java development kit. Java compiler, what is the purpose of Java compiler? Java C. What, what is the purpose of this? Java compiler convert Java source code into bytecode, which can be executed by the Java virtual machine. JRE, what it is providing? It's a runtime environment for executing the Java applications. We have developed Java applications and applet where we can run these applications with the help of only Java runtime environment. We can run the Java applications. What is the purpose of jar files? That is Java archiver. Packages compiled Java classes into jar file for distribution. For distribution purpose, we are using the jar file. JDB is nothing but a debugger. We have to fix the error and identify the error. We are using the JDB. Documentation generator. This is also a document generator. Java source code commands. Generate documentation from Java source code commands. Interpreter. Java interpreter loads and execute Java applications. Interpreter what is doing? Loads and execute Java applications. One more keyword we have learned in this question, that is remote method invocation. Okay, that is what? Remote method invocation is the mechanism that allows an object reside on system, that is JVM, to access or invoke an object running on another JVM. That is, we have mentioned JVM means what? Java virtual machine. So one object is residing in one JVM and another method is residing in another JVM. How they can communicate? Through this remote method invocation, we can communicate. This object can communicate Okay, RMI is used to build a distributed application. The main purpose of remote method invocation is the to build distributed applications. It provides remote communication between Java programs. Okay, and it is provided in the package. Which package? The remote method invocation is included java.rmi. And let's look into the architecture of a remote method application. In this, we are writing two programs, that is client program and a server program. In the client side, we write that is server program and a client program. Inside the server program, a remote object is created and a reference of that object is made available for the client. Here we can see the two structure, that is a client side and a server side. Here what the server is doing? Server is creating object and giving references to the client. And the client is also, what is the purpose of client program? This the created server has been created some object. Those objects want to call by the client. So for that purpose, we are using client programs. Here three we have to identify the keywords client, stub, RRL, transport layer. Here we can see server skeleton RRL transport layer. This transport layer is responsible for the exact connection between the client and the server so that they can communicate with each other. Here one word you can see that stub. Stub is nothing but the client side object. Okay, what is stub? Client side object. Here I have given the explanation. Stub is a representation of the remote object at the client. It resides in the client system. It acts as a gateway for the client program. Actually, what is the purpose of stub? To act as a gateway for the client program. Next, we have seen skeleton. Skeleton is the server side object. It is creating object and its references. Object references is also created by the skeleton. Okay. Next is RRL. RRL is remote reference layer. It is the layer which manages the references made by the client to the remote object. And the transport layer I have all. This is a remote reference layer is a virtual connection, and transport layer is the exact network connection between the client and the server. Okay. In this remote method invocation, you should at least remember these two keywords, stub and skeleton. Stub is the client side object and skeleton is the server side object. Next, look into the another question, programming paradigm related question, that is the four types they have given: imperative, object oriented, logic, functional. And their related keywords are also given right in the right side. Okay. We look into the answer. Here the answer is option A, imperative. Imperative is command-based procedural. Object-oriented means imperative and abstract data types. Logic means declarative or causal representation theorem proving. Functional means side effect free declarative evaluation. Okay, let's look into the detailed explanation. There, we are classifying the programming paradigm, into main two broad categories. Categories, that is imperative programming and declarative programming. In imperative programming, you should remember the keyword how, and in declarative programming paradigm, you should remember the keyword what. Okay, those keywords you should be keep in mind. And under that, imperative programming again classified into procedural, object oriented, parallel. What are they? Procedural, object oriented, parallel. In declarative, that is logic programming, functional programming, database processing approach. Okay, here I have given imperative programming paradigm. This is one of the oldest programming paradigm, and it is a most close relation to the machine architecture, and it is based on the von Neumann architecture. and it perform actually step by step task by changing state. The main focus is on how to achieve the goal. Okay, that is in this imperative programming paradigm, we are looking each step by step and how we can achieve the goal. So that we have to analyze each step by step process. Then only we can reach the exact destination. So its advantage is very simple to implement and it contains loops variables. Disadvantage, complex problem cannot be solved, less efficient and less productive. Parallel programming is not possible. Next, this is the examples of imperative programming, that is programming C 410 basic. Next is that we already mentioned that imperative programs are again classified into procedural, object-oriented, and parallel. First, we look into the procedural programming paradigm. In this approach, each process, that is program is procedural oriented. That is, we can use the code whenever we need. We can use that code. So here, reusability of code is possible. So in this paradigm, emphasis on the procedure in terms of underlying machine model, which it is based on the machine actually. The machine, if the machine is supporting this type of paradigm, in each machine we have. Okay, procedural programming is main. This approach is emphasis on procedures. Examples are C, C++, Java, Cold Fusion, Pascal. Next is object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is a collection of classes and objects which are meant for communication. In this approach, each and every entity is considered as object, and all computation is performed on the object only. And it more of emphasis is on data rather procedure. In object-oriented programming, they are focusing only on data rather than procedure. It can handle almost all kind of real life problems. Okay, advantages are data security, inheritance, code reusability, flexible, and abstraction is also present. The examples of object-oriented programming are Simula, Java, C++, Objective-C, Visual Basic, Python, Ruby, Smalltalk. Next is parallel processing. This word parallel means doing all the process at a time. So in this approach, we are dividing a program instruction into a small groups. So parallel processing system poses many number of processors with the objective of running a program in less time by dividing them. This approach is mainly uh, implementing the divide and conquer approach. Okay, we can easily do the process by dividing a large program into sub programs. Declarative programming paradigm means in this is the second broad category of programming paradigm. In this, I told a keyword that how what to do. That is, in imperative programming, we mentioned that how to do the program, but here what to do. That is the keyword you should remember. It is divided as logic, functional, and database. In declarative programming, is a style of building programs that expresses logic of computation without talking about its control flow. The focus is on what needs to be done rather how it should be done basically. Emphasis on what code is actually doing. It just declare the result. We want rather how it has be produced. That is, we don't need to worry about what is inside happening. We just whatever we need, as if we want to do a mouse click operation, we just use that code. So we don't worry about how to do that code. So this type of declarative programming is hiding the implementation details. Okay, the declarative programs means are only focusing on what to do. Okay, Next is logic programming paradigm. It is termed as the abstract model of computation. In this logic programming, nowadays we are familiar with the keyword artificial intelligence, machine learning. Those are all the programming paradigms are mainly focusing on logic, that is knowledge based. We are giving the knowledge, according to that knowledge they are creating the program. Okay, the main emphasis is on knowledge base, and the example of this logic programming are prologue. Next is functional programming. Functional programming are the execution of series of mathematical function. Actually, it is doing a simple function with the help of some mathematical code, so that we can implement wherever we need these functions. We can just implement these codes. Examples are JavaScript, Haskell, Scalar, Erlang, Lisp, ML, Clojure are the examples of functional programming paradigm. In this approach, we have to remember that the data are loosely coupled to function, and the function hide their implementation. So the main approach we mentioned that declarative programmings are hiding the implementation. So that in function programming that also follow this approach. That is, we can't see the what is happening inside. We just know what is the function they are going to do, or what is the function they are going to perform. Like Perl and JavaScript are mostly using this functional programming paradigm. Next is database or data driven programming approach. In this programming methodology is based on data and its movement, how the data is moving from one module to another, how its data flow is going. Based on that, this programming is working, and this is not focusing on code. This is just simply based on data. A database program is the heart of the business information system and provide file creation, data entry, update or query and reporting functions, etc. We all know familiar with the DBMS code. That is SQL queries we are writing. In that we are not implementing hard codes. We are just writing English-based language codes. So those kind of is based on the data-driven programming approach. In this class, we have seen a few questions and its detailed explanation. In upcoming classes, we are discussing further questions in this question paper. Thank you.